What if I told you that right now, as you're listening to this, there are ordinary Americans making split-second decisions that mean the difference between life and death? These aren't movie heroes or comic book characters. These are your neighbors, your coworkers, people just like you. They found themselves face to face with disaster and had seconds to choose between survival and catastrophe. This is about what happens in the space between a heartbeat and a disaster, and what it reveals about the American spirit. Number 6. The trucker who defied physics. Interstate 35 in Texas, rush hour traffic, and Mike Rodriguez, a 15-year veteran truck driver, was hauling 80,000 pounds of steel beams. His worst nightmare became reality. His brakes failed at 65 miles per hour. He was heading straight for a school bus packed with 47 elementary kids. Mike had 3 seconds to make a choice that would haunt him forever. But in those 3 seconds, the world around him seemed to slow down. He didn't just see a bus, he saw the faces of children. For a terrifying moment, he saw his own daughter's face in the window. A voice in his head screamed, "Save yourself." But a quieter, stronger voice said, "Not today." Instead of swerving into oncoming traffic or plowing into that bus, Mike did something that defied every survival instinct. He aimed his massive rig straight for the concrete barrier. The impact nearly killed him. 3 broken ribs, a collapsed lung, months of recovery. But those 47 kids went home to their families that night. This wasn't just a controlled collision. It was a father choosing to save someone else's children. Number 5. The mom who became a human shield. Soccer practice in suburban Denver. Jennifer Walsh was watching her 8-year-old daughter Emma. She heard something that made her blood freeze, the distinct sound of screeching tires and an engine gunning at full throttle. A drunk driver in a pickup truck had jumped the curb and was barreling toward the field at 45 miles per hour. He was headed straight toward a group of kids who had no idea death was racing toward them. Jennifer had 1 second to choose, save herself or become a human missile. But there was no choice to make. She didn't think, she didn't calculate. She became a living shield, the primal, protective instinct of a mother overriding every law of physics and self-preservation. She launched herself into the path of that truck, scooping up 3 kids and hurling them to safety. Jennifer spent 8 months learning to walk again. But those 3 children, including her own daughter, survived without a scratch. Number 4. The firefighter who ignored orders. September 11, 2001. While everyone was running out of the Twin Towers, Captain Billy Murphy was running in. He received a direct order to evacuate the North Tower. Command said the building was too unstable, the risk too great. But Billy heard something on his radio that changed everything, a faint voice from the 43rd floor. "We have people trapped up here." Murphy had 30 seconds to choose, obey orders and save his own life, or defy command for a rescue attempt that might be impossible. He stood there, knowing that a desperate voice on the radio was a person, not a statistic. So Billy chose defiance. He led his team up while everyone else was going down. They found 17 office workers trapped in a collapsed stairwell and got them all out. They had just 4 minutes to spare before that section of the building pancaked. Number 3. The teacher who became a fortress. At Sandy Hook Elementary, teacher Victoria Soto heard gunshots in the hallway. She had 15 seconds to decide how 21st graders would spend what might be their final moments. She could have escaped through the classroom window. But in that moment, she didn't see an escape route. She saw 20 tiny lives depending on her. She became a fortress. She physically blocked the doorway with her body, telling her students to hide in the bathroom and art supply closet. When the gunman burst in, he found Victoria standing alone. Victoria died that day, but 16 of her 20 students survived because she chose to be their shield instead of seeking safety. Number 2. The pilot who landed the impossible. U.S. Airways Flight 1549, January 15, 2009. Captain Chesley Sullenberger was flying 155 passengers over New York City. Both engines were destroyed by a bird strike at 2,800 feet. The cabin went silent. The plane was a falling rock. Sully had 208 seconds to do what aviation experts said was impossible. The textbook said to attempt a return to LaGuardia Airport, but Sully realized they wouldn't make it. So Sully chose the Hudson River, a landing that had never been successfully attempted with a commercial airliner. He had one chance to thread the needle perfectly. This wasn't just a pilot flying a plane. It was a man with 40 years of experience, using every ounce of his skill and intuition. The world called it a miracle, but Sully called it doing his job. Number 1. The the stranger who jumped into hell. New York City, subway platform, rush hour. Wesley Autry was waiting for the train with his 2 young daughters. 19-year-old Cameron Hollipeter had a seizure and fell onto the tracks. Wesley could see the headlight of the approaching train and heard the rumble getting louder. He had maybe 10 seconds before that train would crush Cameron to death. Most people would have frozen, but Wesley didn't think. He acted. He leaped down onto the tracks, covered Cameron's body with his own, and pressed them both into the drainage trough. 10 cars of a speeding subway train passed inches over their heads. For 20 terrifying seconds, Wesley lay on top of a complete stranger while death thundered overhead. Both men survived. Wesley took a 100% personal risk because a stranger's life mattered more than his own safety. The thread that connects every American hero isn't about courage. It's about what you choose to do when the world collapses around you. It's the voice of compassion, of sacrifice, and of unconditional love. They had heartbeats to choose between self-preservation and service. The terrifying truth? You might face this choice tomorrow. What would you do? Would you be the person who runs to safety, or the person others run to for safety? Share this story with someone who needs to hear it. If you want to watch more video like this, subscribe to my channel. See you.